It's Monday, March 11, 2024, and this is Things You Might Have Heard, and I am Jake Payne. And in the queue for this morning, as I record this, going live to you at 5:50 a.m. Central Time with the new Daylight Savings Time advance, we have 10 stories in the queue from the past weekend that you deemed as conversational, and we'll explain the vetting process, how you deemed them conversational, how we picked them for this in a bit, and give you some today things, some fun stuff for this Monday, so stick around for the entire integrity, which is not a real word, of the program for today. Our website is this. It's conversationproject.com, about what we do, full coverage of what we do every day, and email us at theconversationinbox@gmail.com. As we say, it's Monday, March 11th, 2024, and the stories we're going to give you here, 10 of them, no particular order as they're being presented, but we'll give you some context to how they sort of came about as we go deeper into the headlines for the day. So we're going to start off pretty simple, pretty easy, just right off the bat. The story that people are literally talking about right now, in fact, breaking news popped up to give us an update of what's going on. The headline for the first story of the day reads, Kate Middleton poses with 3 kids in new photo for UK's Mother's Day amid abdominal surgery recovery. Now, the link we have here does not really go into effect the actual bigger story that turned into it. This is the photo, if you're watching the video, that we're talking about here. What exactly has happened or is happening? Well, Kate Middleton, the Princess of Wales, has been off the scene lately because she had her abdominal surgery basically months ago. We know she had abdominal surgery. They told us that much. But what they didn't tell us was, why. What the deal was. Was she actual pain? Was there an issue going on that was real? Or was it something as simple as, because she's a royal, getting a tummy tuck? Here, she took a picture right here. She's supposed to be back onto the scene and being back to doing duties in a few months. But she took this picture for English Mother's Day, European Mother's Day. It's Mother's Day in overseas right now. And this one out there hanging out with her kids. There's an issue, though. Not pictured here, not appeared here in this picture, is some weird touch-ups on the picture. Now, Kate Middleton, literally moments before we went on the air today, came with a statement saying that, sometimes she touches up our pictures for the family just to make them look a little better. And she did this, and she's taking the blame for the weirdness. There's a misjointed hand, and the arm is off in place. But you got to really scrutinize the picture. It's one of those things that you wouldn't think people care that much about. But guess what? People care that much about this one. This story is going to ride for a while with the Photoshop and thing. And I think we're bearing the lead that Kate Middleton may be out there to do your creative works needs. If you need an editor for something, maybe Kate Middleton has a little time on her hands and she's not doing royal duties. That might be the actual story, the cover in this story. Let's go to the story for number 2 this morning. Headline number 2, which reads, Republicans torch their own State of Union rebuttal as Senator Katie Britt paints bleak picture of America in response to Biden. This is a picture of Katie Britt, the senator from Alabama, the youngest senator right now going forward, who did the rebuttal for the State of the Union on Thursday, where she sat in a kitchen scene and gave this weird sort of sing-songy sort of performance that was just really over the top. This is not a picture, although it looks very close to the performance done by Scarlett Johansson on Saturday Night Live in the surprise appearance in the cold open, where she played Katie Britt and gave a really, really weird calling of the actual thing. Now, the weirdest thing about this is that the Republicans, the GOP, were watching this, and people live tweet everything. Of course, they're bashing Biden for slurring words and stuttering and calling the guy who killed Laken Riley illegal and saying he should have when he's saying he shouldn't have. But the real fire went to Katie Britt, who did a really, really bad job of doing this thing. Really, really bad job doing this thing. Now, after the biggest takeaway from the weekend is people going a chance to rewatch Bobby Jindal and rewatch Marco Rubio and say, well, now they're finally vindicated. How the election will go and where her future is going, we shall see. Let's go to the story, headline number 3 for this morning. And it reads, Lizzo wants white people to stop talking like black people. Or talking black is the actual quote. Now, there are 2 issues that Lizzo was actually having with. One of them is appropriation based on 2 sides. One, people are saying that her, a black woman, a proud black woman, is making music that's basically made for white people. And on the flip side, all the white people out there who feel comfortable, not in so much just her fans, but just in general, of talking black, if you will, talking with an African-American vernacular. That is a thing to have that sort of vernacular, has that sort of talk. And so while Ebonics is not a thing, but people sort of talk in a way when they in a cultural way, when you're around folks in the neighborhood, that's how you talk. And apparently white people think they can do that. And they also think they're the ones that own Lizzo's music. She has 2 issues she's sort of complaining about right now. Camera right, 2 issues. And she's getting a lot of flack for that. We had 2 Lizzo stories here. The first one was actually her basically countersuing all the people who were suing her for sexual harassment and hard working environment for a whole bunch of money. But the one that you people literally thought was more conversational is Lizzo with the headline, "White people stop talking like black people." Says a lot about the us's out there. Let's go to the story that's number 4 for this morning. Headline for that one reads, speaking of which, Black Twitter documentary sharply charts rise of internet phenomena. When I was still working in the newsroom in the radio station, there was a young white female reporter who kept talking about stuff, and I think I dropped Black Twitter out there somewhere, and so she kept looking for it. And one day she officially just sort of asked me, how do you find Black Twitter? To which my answer was, find a black person on Twitter and follow them. It seems pretty simple, but Black Twitter as a cultural phenomenon is amazing. And even though we're not supposed to call it Twitter anymore, and we still do, the fact that so many people talking in their African-American vernacular, talking about things with that view on Twitter is a big deal. And a 3-part documentary series is coming out literally to show the popularity, the history, the importance of Black Twitter. You will see this coming out very soon, so check out your local listings for this thing. I think it's going to Hulu and those places, but the voices, the movements, the rise, the insanity, and the importance of something as literally silly as Black Twitter. And like I said, you want to follow Black Twitter? You just follow black people on Twitter, and then you found it. It is there. It's not a pot of gold in the rainbow. It really is just kind of out there, overt. South Carolina tops LSU in women's SEC title game, marred by bench clearing scuffle, mass ejections. Big deal for the women's basketball scene in SEC, where LSU got bounced by South Carolina, at least in the tournament. LSU will be in the big March Madness for the women, but South Carolina gets the number 1 seed for the all practical purposes as the leader or the winner for the SEC. So why are we talking about this? We're really talking about the mass ejections, including a South Carolina forward, Camila Cardoso, who got involved in a pretty big scuffle. Basically, some people bumped each other, some people bumped more people, and the benches got cleared. Weirdly enough, Angel Reese sort of stood back and was like, yeah, I ain't got time for this for a while, and then eventually sort of came into the fray. So showed maybe some more ruptures with that going forward. We do know that Cardoso will actually miss a little time playing because of she's been ejected for the game. So we'll see how that affects them playing forward. But right now, the women are taking over basically in all the spotlight, all the eyeballs for college basketball. And this is one that usually see the men go out and swing on this one. This one, the ladies got rough, and the ladies got rough big time for big time players. The story is headline number 6 for this morning. Natalie Portman and Benjamin Millepied, hopefully I said it right, finalized divorce after quietly separating last year. As a part of the breakups of 2023, we did highlight Natalie Portman and her husband, Mr. Natalie Portman, breaking up over the last year. They have quietly finalized a divorce. They didn't have much scuffle, much yelling back and forth, but after 11 years of being married, the quiet separation is now over and they are officially no longer a couple by legal standing. Portman's 42 and Millepied is 46. They just sort of made it happen. It's amazing that sometimes these things can end as they do. Sometimes they get together in such weird ways because it's basically people in the same orbit. I can't date Natalie Portman because I'm not in the same orbit as her, but this guy apparently is. But apparently after 11 years, whatever made it work isn't working. Natalie Portman, by the way, not on the future ex-wives list. So just in case you're wondering, she's not actually one of those. Just a weird reference that popped up in my head. Let's talk about the story that's number 7 for this morning in the lineup per our picking, but you made a conversation to put it in here. And the headline reads, Angela Chao may have died after accidentally putting her Tesla in reverse, a mistake she's made before. Angela Chao is the sister-in-law to Mitch McConnell, of course, the sister of Elaine Chao, 50-year-old former CEO of Foreman Group, tragically died when Tesla drove into a pond. How did this happen? Well, we believe that the Tesla was put in reverse by mistake, something that Ms. Chao actually had done a few times before. And so this is one that essentially to basically get the blame off of the Tesla company and Elon Musk essentially being turned into a operator error. Unfortunately, there are a lot of operator errors in these issues where Tesla is having their issues like this one, and this is a sad thing to see. Hopefully we'll find a true resolution. This is right now what they believe is happening. Hopefully we'll know what exactly happened and have a resolution to this. And we, of course, offer many, 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 many positive thoughts to the Chao family, to the McConnell family, and all folks who are involved with this one, especially folks who are actually doing investigating, because what you may not know and think about is people who investigate car crashes and plane crashes and things like that. They go through a lot of stress and trauma dealing with the actual work that's being done. So we have a lot of resolve for them and hope that they can work through this on their own, what they need to do. Let's move this story. That's number 8 for this morning. 5 Beverly Hills 8th graders expelled for spreading AI nudes of classmates. The really weird part of the story is that the AI editor basically tried to give me a content strike for trying to just read the article and skim it and get some sort of breakdown because it believed it violated its policies. And you could go along with how that goes because the story is just so bad. 5 grade students were expelled from the Beverly Hills Middle School for spreading AI-generated nudes with their classmates on them. These are 8th graders. The parents and students agreed not to contest the punishment, which is probably the easiest way to do this. Officials at Beverly Vista Middle School identified the students within 24 hours of becoming aware of the images being distributed and have taken appropriate measures to ensure accountability. So we have been talking about this a lot lately and talking a lot about the people who are using the AIs and using to make nudes, number one, and nudes that are essentially deep fakes of other people. We talked about the high school student who had to go through all the drama last year in this one. And now we're seeing 8th graders putting their classmates' heads on nude bodies and distributing them as they are. The technology is wonderful. It's great. It's beautiful. But of course, there is a dark side of it. And when you put it in the wrong hands and you do not teach the children well, as you see, bad things happen. Let's move on to the next story for this morning. The headline for that story, the number 9 story, reads, U.S. flies forces in to beef up security at embassy in Haiti and evacuate non-essential personnel. We've actually had to flip through 3 or 4 different stories to fill this spot because we went through some stories that didn't really fit. We weren't avoiding this one, but when it turned out we couldn't make it more one of our first stories, it seemed like it didn't really fit, and we talk about it in the omissions. It turned out it was ready for this one. And this is one that's ongoing. The U.S. has sent down troops to Haiti. Haiti right now is an S-hole country. And no matter what you think about it, things are really bad in Haiti. Going deep into the actual political situation is kind of painful in itself. But what you're seeing with all the unrest, with all the violence, all the things that no one knows going on, including no one really sure where the actual prime minister of Haiti is. He signed a bill to get some beefed up security from African countries, and then kind of got diverted when he came back towards the States. The airport is shut down, so you can't get flights in and out. So it's already that hard to get in and out doing what's going on. And while there are many people bravely sticking around to go do what's happening, the gangs have essentially gotten together and working coalitions to just maintain gangness, if you will. No real order, just gangs in charge. This is not a good situation. This is a situation that will probably get worse well before it gets better, if it gets better, as it makes it look like we're basically not concussions. We shall see how this one goes through as well. There's another conflict that we're stuck in, especially since they're so close to us in the South. And we also have to protect the DR, Dominican Republic. And finally, the number 10 story for this morning. Warner Brothers Discovery still seems hell-bent on making Barbie 2, even though neither its star nor director are into it. So this is the picture of Barbie crying, tears from the plastic doll who's come to the real world that you've seen in the Barbie movie. And tears are coming to the Warner Brothers executives, especially head Pam Addy, who really wants to do a second movie. Directed by Greta Gerwig and starring the original Barbie. Here it is. But they don't want to do it. They just don't want to be a part of it. Margot Robbie and Greta Gerwig are like, this thing is good. This thing is fine. We end it with a gynecological joke. So let's let that sit for a while and move on. No, we're not talking much about the Academy Awards last night, which Barbie won for one thing, that was Best Song, and Oppenheimer won for 7 out of 15 things going on. It was a pretty weird night of on, pretty chill, pretty dire. Some people call it boring, not bad. But as far as the phenomenon that is Barbie for making money, probably not making more money in a Barbie 2, at least not dealing with the original director and original star. And if they do a sequel that's like a direct to streaming thing that's going to be trash, we will trash it, guarantee you, because I love me some Barbie and Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer was the deal for the summer. Let's talk about our errors, apologies, and omissions. Here's where we talk about things that we've screwed up, things we have a chance to fix. Basically, if you had a story that was wrong, then we get a chance to review it. No really errors in the past couple of days, and we're still kind of doing a slow sort of Monday, and clicking buttons are kind of eared and all that stuff. But we're going to drop 2 quick headlines into the omissions. This is where we get a chance to roll in something that we don't have time to talk about. Headline number 1, Nancy Mace accuses George Stephanopoulos of trying to shame me as a rape victim, or quote, for questioning her Trump endorsement. And Lindsey Graham flips out on NBC host as she confronts him over Trump's embrace of Orban. 2 people, talking heads, 2 surrogates for Trump went on the air this week. George Stephanopoulos blasted Nancy Mace for basically endorsing Trump, even though Trump has the sexual assault charges, where Mace was very famously big on, women's rights and talking about people who dealt with rape. The fact that she was. Now, one thing that people are blasting Stephanopoulos for is he worked for Bill Clinton, and those accusations, although no convictions, are all over the place. Now, Lindsey Graham's a separate story. Now, people aren't so happy with NBC's Meet the Press. They haven't been so happy with it since Tim Russ had actually died and left the show. And they wish they could pull up his corpse, make him a zombie, and have him do the show at this point, because they weren't fans of Chuck Todd. They definitely aren't really fans of the new replacement, Kristen Walker. And Kristen Walker actually did a good job of pushing Lindsey Graham over how he's embracing, Trump's embracing Orban as a strong man with his visit over the weekend, which nobody basically endorsed, and Trump just had him over for dinner at Mar-a-Lago. Graham, of course, goes nuts because he says, what's the problem? He's ex-president. He's relevant. He might be president again, yada, yada, yada. It all was what it was. Let's go on to actual business again, back into the realm of the news, and the news that we can talk about. This is the part where we talk about the stories, how they got here, and how more stories can get here. This is where we have our teaser story of the morning. And this is a story that we are calling it because we're teasing it for a chance to chat it up later on. And it's very simple to get the story into our feeds and into the talk. You just go to our feeds. I've said that 3 times. What are the feeds? There are links on Twitter and Facebook. Facebook.com/this is Conversation Project, and Twitter or X.com/th_conversation. When you click those links on the twits or on the Facebook, you can see stories we post, news headlines every 50 minutes or so that you can engage in them. And your actual engagement tells us what stories to talk about. This Monday, today, we took 30 of the top stories of the weekend, about 90. We could do about 30 or so in about a 24-hour gig. We took the top 90 stories from the weekend, took the top 30, and pulled 10 of them to present to you in the presentation. For the rest of the week, for Tuesday through Friday, 30 stories in a day, essentially. So top 15 of those stories, top half, we'll pick 8 to give to you on those days. We'll be talking about this one come tomorrow. The headline for the story reads, 70-foot sperm whale beached on sandbar off coast in Venice, Florida. And the rescue workers are doing what they can to keep the whale alive and get the whale back into the ocean so that it can live on and have great stories on its own. Now, we did tease on Friday Katie Britt's story about being really bad at state and union rebuttals, and it did last a weekend, so we talked about it. It was a really big deal and turned into more big deals over the weekend. Of course, she did admit, and I think that story we have posted later on in the feeds, she did admit that the story that she gave about the woman who was trafficked was a story from 1, Mexico, and 2, 20 years ago. There's that. We'll be talking about the sperm whale and getting it back into the ocean and having hopefully a great response, a good update to that story. Go to our feeds. Tell me what to talk about. You will let me know. Now, let's talk about our spotlight sponsor for the day, and it is Flowers Fast. Flowers Fast does not only give you great flowers, but they give you great other gifts. They have lots of food gifts and other things that you can get onto that you can send to folks because they have the power FTD. And if you log in early in the day, you can probably get flowers same day, and maybe it's that morning because of FTD service based on how fast they are where you want to get them to. This is especially great to have if you're in a jam and need to get yourself out of something, because flowers fast can get those flowers to you day of in most cases, or extremely fast. By the way, they're also a big source of knowledge. Did you know that March, the flower for March, is a daffodil? It shows spring, rebirth, domestic happiness, respect, regard, and friendship. The daffodil is synonymous with spring, as it is the epitome of rebirth and new beginnings. The words I said before I said those words. Get yourself a nice daffodil package, or whatever it is your hubby, your lovey wants to get, or give them just what you want, because it's all about you. And the fact you sent them flowers is a good thing. Or send them cookies. Cookies are awesome. Whatever you do, just check out our link and use this link for our benefit and yours. We get a small commission back when you use this affiliate link. This is theconversationproject.com/flowersfast. This is theconversationproject.com/flowersfast. This is theconversationproject.com/flowersfast. Now, let's do a quick highlight of ourselves, if you will. We are the Conversation Project. We live online at this. It's conversationproject.com. You can see us in all our glory at our website and just get to know us a little better. You can also find out all the great things we do all day, every day, 24/7, as we're posting new stories literally 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and looking for your input on things. We can conversate with you, have conversations with you in various means, including inside the comments, inside various things we do for the clicks back and forth, and the love that you get from just being around. So, very quickly, our feeds. Follow the feeds. Go to the feeds. See the stories on the feeds, and like, love, hate, share, engage on stories in the feeds. The more engagement you get, the higher chance you have of talking about them at next day, next iteration. Go to our website, this is conversationproject.com, and visit the website. See what we do all day, and also consider going to our partnerships page or our sponsorships page and going to them and helping us out, getting things going on. Oh, we have a highlight coming up. We'll have some new sponsors that we will announce on Wednesday, so stay tuned for that. Oh, by the way, we're all over the place. Watch us in our hot takes on TikTok and YouTube Shorts. It's less than 60 seconds, so if we go longer, but the YouTube Shorts cuts it off, so I want to be in the shorts feed, where we take little stories here or there and turn them into basically hot takes. Nothing really substantial, just sort of what I can get in 60 seconds, and you guys blast me for my very short-sighted views. Or sometimes you call me kind of on the nose for hitting things that are on the nose. You can rate my hot takes and just engage in yourselves with them. Had a nice long back and forth with a guy who was in real estate on how Donald Trump could actually sell his properties, get the money he needs for paying his bail and or restitution, whatever it is, and actually still be a billionaire because he can refinance so the money never really existed. Sounds kind of shady, but we're talking Donald Trump here. Check us out. The Conversation Project lives online at thisistheconversationproject.com. The most important thing you can do is go to the feeds or email us at the Conversation inbox at gmail.com. Those are absolutely free, and those are the most needed things we need from you. Now, let's get into the love that is the fun stuff for today. Fun stuff begins every single weekday morning with birthdays, because birthdays are the funnest of the fun stuff. Birthday wishes out there. Shout outs to Lisa Loeb, who is 56 years old, a voice, a songstress, music of a generation, if you will, showing the Gen X crowd just how to do things with her cute little glasses and just being that old pixie little person, still making things work, as she is a DJ of sorts on XM radio from the 90s channel, leaning back in those things. And believe it or not, basically an icon. She's still actually producing fairly new music out there and touring when she can. So check out Lisa Loeb, turning 56 on the day. Also in the Gen X realm, 56 for Terrence Howard, and love to Don't Worry, Don't Be Happy guy. That's Barry McFerrin, who's still doing his thing at 74 years old. Our history lesson for today, back in 2020, this was the day Harvey Weinstein was sentenced to 23 years in prison for criminal sex act and rape in New York. This was one of many that he was charged for, and one of many that he was actually convicted for. We all know, of course, the overarching reality of Mr. Weinstein and his fate. And for this day, National Napping Day. Now, my robot editor told much better, much bigger, much larger than the workplace. So it's not just take a nap in your office while, your TPS reports are grinding and being produced. It's take a nap wherever you are, whenever you are, sometime today. You have permission. I'm not giving permission. Somebody gives you permission, but today, sneak one. You'll be better for it. I am Jay Cleveland Payne. Thank you so much for being this one. One thing we wanted to stress this week, because this, I'm going to say for me, it's a pretty stressful week. But this, we're going through a lot of things. A lot of things are happening so far, so fast. So we want to take the time. We'll take time every single day this week, a few minutes or so, to remind you of the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. That's the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. Where if you're feeling a little overly stressed, a little overly concerned, things aren't doing so well, find someone to talk to, and here's someone to talk to 24/7, 7 days a week. Text or call 988 or on your cell phone, or call the full number if you still have it. It still works on other phones. And 988lifeline.org is how you reach out to them online. 24 hours a day, English and Spanish, so you can talk to someone about whatever is going on. Them when they're talk to. Find someone to talk to if things aren't going so great. I can tell you right now, when a situation, if you're one of the new followers, you're finding out exactly how deep and detailed the bad stuff is right now here for Paint House. Don't worry about it so much, but if you are worried about yourself, that's what here. That's one reason why I always say stay limber, stay hydrated, and stay on task for in the morning. And I rose up my coffee cup for staying hydrated, because life's a journey, and it should be as long as possible. So don't try to shorten it by any means, either on purpose or by default by just doing stupid stuff. Stay on the stick, stay positive, stay knowing what needs to be done. And if you need some help, find some help. In the meantime, follow us on our feeds on Facebook and Twitter. Follow us at our website. This is conversationproject.com. Email us at theconversationinbox@gmail.com. And of course, consider being a partner. Consider helping us out with what's going on. We will announce 2 new partners. We'll turn that into the rotation on Wednesday. New partners popping in there these are $5 monthly donations who are going to help things get a little bit better around here. And you can do the same. We'll hype them up and hype up that program come Wednesday. We run long on Monday, so we're going to do the hyping stuff later in the week. I want to remind you that you are awesome. You are awesome. Love you. Mean it. Have a great Monday. I'm going to do my best, and you should do your best as well. I don't think I'm getting a nap in today, but we'll see what happens. But we're going to make our way through this thing together and get out of this. So on Tuesday morning, what stories are we talking about? I won't know until you tell me, literally. So get on your work, go to our feeds, let me know what stories to chit chat about, and we'll see you coming up on Tuesday.